Hello and welcome. It's a good day to be on the farm. My name is Chuck and this is Erlengrat Flour Mill episode 23. As you can see, it's actually a cold and rainy, wet day to be on the farm, and it's dark. So I had been working through the rest of October to get field 14 planted. In fact, let's go in here and just look at that real quick. Apologize, I was set up to talk about something else, but then I segued right into it. So 14 is all planted with wheat. We've got this section that we did in September that's growing about a month faster, but the rest of this should be fine. And we've got field 15, which we started to plow because we did finally get all of those bales off of there. I've got a time lapse of me baling this that I'll actually squeeze into this episode at some point in time, a little out of order, but I wanted to make sure I introed it correctly first. And then the other thing that I noticed as we were doing this is we have not produced any more bread because we are out of flour, and we actually stopped producing barley for a little while because we were at our max, which was 30,000 flour stored. So once it has 30 pallets of flour, apparently it won't produce anymore. And I can actually turn oat flour back on. I turned off oat flour to just focus on barley for a little bit, but I'll let them both go for now. So I needed to get bread moved over. So that's what we're doing right now. I took this trailer and I actually had to dump all the eggs out. So all the eggs are sitting on the lawn over there, which I'll show you in the morning. And I filled this completely full of flour, which is 20,000 flour. So we're going to go ahead and dump this in, and then we're going to finish this ridiculous rainy day and move on to November. And then we can continue with a couple of projects that I've got going on. And I'm going to tell you about those in the morning because, yeah, it's too dark to do anything, and it's been raining all and off in October. And it's just not the kind of day where we're going to be able to get, obviously a second field planted. So we've got one winter crop, wheat, which is on a big field, and then we'll get 15 planted as soon as we can in March, and then probably 16 in April, and then we'll just kind of rotate those crops accordingly. So let's flip over to here and sleep till the morning, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about here. And since it is November and it's going to be darker, I tend to get up at 9. I think that's the latest you can get up is 9, 5 to 9, I believe, in the morning. And yeah, so it's cloudy but not raining. So we've got this field, which is just sitting here still with straw that needs baled and giant weeds, which I hate looking at. So I did get the bales off yesterday off of field 15. We got one full load of 24 here, and then this load, which is not quite, I don't know, I think it was like 19, I want to say, something like that. And then we had 3 more because I had another trailer full that was only had 21 on it, but I used that trailer. I filled that up with 3 bales off of this before I took it off as well. So we had almost 2 loads of straw off of here, and as we learned in 2 episodes ago, we don't actually need straw for our little cow pen that we have right now. So we're going to go ahead and sell all this, knowing that we have even more straw to get off of this field here. But first, let's get the Zetter fired up. Now, first of all, we're going to get these eggs loaded back up because in order to get that flour moved, I had to unload the trailer, and then boom, here is like 7 pallets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pallets of eggs I just had to dump out on the ground in the rain, which is not what I wanted to do, but also I just needed to get them out of here to move the flour, and there was not time for me to go front load all that flour. We just needed our production facility to move forward, and we're actually probably going to sell eggs and flour not flour, and bread today, as well as maybe some silage. So today is going to be a big day of selling things and getting the rest of the fields moved forward here. So we'll get these eggs loaded back up. And then we'll get the extra eggs off of the chicken area as well. And of course, it looks like our grass could use one more mowing. And we do have cows, so we probably need that hay. So in addition to everything else we're doing today, we're probably going to try to mow as well. So we'll just see how far we get in November, but we're moving forward. So you can see it's boxing everything up back. I do like that they put it in here. Of course, they weren't able to program all the different looking products in here, so it's just generic boxes when it enters this trailer, but at least it fills it up like so, and that is 60% eggs, about 59%. So we're gonna go ahead and close that. Let's check the egg price real quick. Actually, bread price too, since we're here. Bread price is $29.52 and rising. Yeah, I wanted to get as close to 3,000 as we could. It will jump up in December, so we might hold on to those depending. Eggs, if they're anywhere near, we'll just go get rid of them right now since we just got them loaded up. Eggs are top in November. $25.57 is the top. $25.53, $26.08 at the that's our bakery. $25.53. So we're $4 off the top at the supermarket. Let's just take these eggs down there right now to get us started today. All right, so on this field to the right, I'll just talk about it now because we're going to be running around for a little bit. You see that we started plowing it because, again, when we planted our wheat down here, we weren't able to direct drill, is what they call it, when you basically go from the harvested state straight to a planted state. We needed to switch it, and our planter has a power harrow attached to it, which would theoretically cultivate and then plant in one pass, but we're not allowed to do that straight from this harvested state. We needed to change the state one time, and so I power harrowed the whole field 14, then went back and basically planted it and harrowed it again, which I don't recommend. So anyway, I went back and checked, and in a previous episode I was able to basically plant and harrow right into a plowed field, just not a harvested field. So I have the plow. If we're gonna have to run over the field anyway with the harrow, why harrow it twice? Why not just plow it then harrow it? That'll also get rid of the weeds for us. So that's what we're doing on field 15 right now. But interestingly enough, that plow requires 180 horsepower. This Zetter has 171, and I was planting with the other. This is not the supermarket, this is a shop. We'll come back here because I've got some stuff to do. So I was barely able to pull that plow with this Zetter, is the bottom line. I was going like 4 miles an hour to get that part of the field planted, so obviously this is going to be a job for the McCormick, not for the Zetter. And this was really interesting to me. As it started raining and continued to rain, I started driving slower and slower, and by the end I was driving that plow 1 mile an hour. I'm assuming because the ground got wet in the rain and then it was very muddy. So that's interesting and cool that they programmed that in, but also made it impossible to get that plowed yesterday. So once we get the McCormick back there, we'll get that. All right, so we sold 60% fill on eggs, got 30,000. That's pretty good. So I'll take that. We're going to need it this morning, actually. So we're going to run back to the shop now because I already put the McCormick down there. I wanted to show you some things. Like if you look at our Zetter right now, we are in dire need of repairs, and we're almost out of gas. So we're going to come through and repair both of our tractors, which we haven't done in a real long time, and then gas them both up as well, because the McCormick is in a similar state. So pull this one in here. I wanted to make sure you guys saw the repair, because I don't know that we've done that before. So we come into here, and our trailer's fine. Our weight is fine. $5 to repair it, sure. But our Zetter needs $3,000 in repair. $3,800. Nice. And to repaint it, it would cost $13,000, but we're not going to do that. So anyway, so our Zetter is now repaired for almost $4,000. And then we'll go gas that up in a second. But let's get this one repaired too. So I brought this down here yesterday to get the last of the seed that we had sitting here, and it looks like we can fit one more bag of seed in here, so we're going to do that as well once I move that Zetter out of the way. So sorry, let me get back in and point this out. So look, our repairs is still over halfway, and our gas is even lower, so McCormick also needs both of those. So that's fine, that's fine. I mean, we'll repair that for $49, repair the cedar for $10, but here we are, $8,000 in repair for our McCormick tractor. It's got to be done, but yikes, that's really cutting into the profits that we just made off those eggs. Alright, so let me get this one out of the way. I mean, still $28,000 is better than the $10,000 we had when we started, and we're obviously selling a lot of things today, so that's going to be good. But let's come down here to pallets and get a big bag of seed, since we have the cedar down here, for $800. And we'll just get this loaded up since we're here, and then we'll drive both these over to the gas station and gas them up. So I wanted you guys to kind of see that. Then basically we're going to be plowing today with the McCormick, because the Zetter just can't do it. And then we're going to be selling lots of bales and probably mowing. So I just kind of wanted to give you a heads up, but I know you guys like to see, whoops, is wide, it's wide, 4 meters. I know you guys like to see the big purchases and the big maintenance costs and things like that we're doing with the money, since we're going to be selling a lot of stuff. And yeah, selling a lot of stuff, and getting kind of the fields ready for the winter. I wanted you guys to be aware of that. So $372 to fill up our tractor, and then we're going to pull this up here and park that, bring this one over here and fill this one up as well. It's going to be a lot better to have 2 maintenance tractors that are full on gas. I was tempted to actually put a fuel tank right on the farm so I wouldn't have to drive them down here to tank them, but it's really not that far. Sorry guy, watch out for me coming through with this trailer. And it was just a good time to sell the eggs too. So let's just see how much it costs to gas up this one. Probably about $300, and then I will get busy on all the things that we've talked about. Alright, yep, 298, pretty close. Alright guys, well, I'm going to cut the video here, and I'll probably put in the time lapse of me baling those bales that I already showed you yesterday in the middle, while I'm moving all this stuff back to the farm and getting busy on plowing, and we'll check back in a little bit. Alright, thanks for watching. done a couple of small jobs around the farm, sold 2 trailer loads full of those straw bales, watered the cows, although they didn't really need it. Got the McCormick going on the plow over here. It is doing way better. The McCormick can pull that plow at 8 miles an hour, where this Zetter could only pull it at 4. So it's getting twice as much field done in the same amount of time. So obviously smart move to have the McCormick doing the plowing. And I realized 2 things. Number one, as I was driving by here with the trailer full of straw bales to take it to the animal thing, number one, we got weeds over here to deal with, which we've never had to deal with before on 14 or on any of our fields because we plowed them before. And 2, we need to fertilize. So here, where we planted it in September, we've got large weeds. The only way to take care of those is herbicide. That's unfortunate because we don't have a sprayer. Also, here, these have medium weeds which require a hoe, which we also don't have, and we need to take care of. And then you'll notice this is 50% fertilized, and the same over here. We need to get fertilizer on here before it grows one more growth stage, and we can't drive on it with our large wheels here. So I'm actually going to take a close-up look here, and we're going to drive over this part that's 2 months just a little bit to see if our tires destroy it. And it seems to not be destroying the crop. So we'll go ahead and do a run down here with the fertilizer, and we're going to get this thing fertilized today. The only thing that you guys missed was I went and bought 2 big bags of fertilizer as well, and put them back in here just to get this going. So we're going to get this field fertilized, and this is not a big job, so I'm going to try to do it myself because we already got 1 worker going with the plow. So yeah, we're going to get this fertilized. And driving over the weeds does kill them, but I'm not going to drive up and down the field just to kill all these weeds. Plus I don't know that that keeps them away forever. And then we're going to need to get a sprayer and spray this because that'll take care of the weeds over on that side and the weeds over here. But luckily we shouldn't get weeds on 15 or 16 since we're going to plow first. And I think that's just going to be how we're going to have to operate on this farm, at least with our current equipment, is plow, then seed and power harrow into the plowed soil, and that will avoid having to mess with the weeds, which is what we're going to have to do on this one. So see, where is that coming to the edge of that fertilizer spreading to almost the edge of the weeds, but not quite. Sorry, it's hard to get a good view of that. I'm trying to figure out exactly where the 12-meter edge of the field is for turning is always a little bit of a challenge. So we're going to back this way and then come around this way. I'm guessing it'll be right about here. And we will see what we've got on our map. Yep, and that's covering, so that should be good. Missed a little bit in the corner, but that's fine. So yeah, it's important that we get this fertilized now because this is going to grow over the winter and then we won't be able to drive on it. But we're going to have to do something about the weeds down here. So I think renting a sprayer is probably the way we're going to have to go. And since we've got a little time, well, actually I'll turn around and then I'll show you, but like I said, we did get the two trailer loads full of straw bales sold. We still have all this straw on 16 that we need to bale up at some point, so I didn't keep anything back. We do eventually want a little bit of straw for the TMR for the cows, but again, our cows are 2 months old at this point or something, so not anywhere near needing the TMR yet. So that's going to be a thing that we'll have to watch eventually, but I mean, we need to save like 10 bales maybe. And luckily nothing is planted in here, so we can make a nice wide turn. Like so. And just work our way back down. So yeah, actually we might not be, yeah, we're a little bit, I mean, we're doing fine. We've got 23% left, so we'll let it go, but we could take an even wider turn. We're kind of double fertilizing over here on the left, overlapping by quite a bit, but alright, so I want to go to our finances. So far, we're net $29,000 for today. We sold $16,000, 16,654 in straw bales, and we sold 30,148 in eggs, but we spent almost 12,000, 11,936 in maintenance on our vehicles, and then another 671 in fuel, and another 800 in seed, and another 3,600 in fertilizer. So, you know, that's something we need to be watching as well, is we're making money, but we're spending a lot of money too. So let's take a wider turn this time. And hopefully that's in the ballpark. Yeah, better. And then let's just look at our cows real quick. So our cows, they still have 7,000 liters of hay, so they're doing fine. Productivity is 100% now. Water is topped off. I mean, I literally put like 200 liters, nothing in there. Health is 100%, 2 months age, 11% towards that puberty. Again, I think that needs to be 18 months is what we're shooting for to mature. And we're just going to keep feeding them hay. So today at some point we'll drop them a bale or two of hay as well. But nothing we need to really worry about at this point. Man, it got kind of dark. Must just be a cloudy day. It is really pretty up here though. I do enjoy this map for the rolling hills and the mountains off in the distance. That's one thing we don't have here in Nebraska, is mountains to look at in the distance. So it's pretty flat. Alright, so we've got that shut off. We'll just do another wide turn here. Looks like our plow is done. Let me go back to my map. Sorry to be switching back and forth so much, but yeah, 2 strips. Alright, since we know we're going to do 2 strips, we'll just go a little bit closer down here just to make sure we don't miss anything. Get that leveled off and do it down and back. Get this nice and fertilized, and then we will go get that sprayer and get it sprayed. I was tempted to try to buy a hoe just to do these small weeds and just forget the large weeds on that one end of the field. Never worked a hoe on my fields either for weeds, so I suppose we could take a look at that real quick and see. Actually, let's look at the deals as well. Bale wrapper, loader, and a 40-foot header, but we already have our header. We don't have any weeders. I'm just checking what we currently own just to double check. I know we don't have a sprayer, so we would need to come up here to tools. Hold on, I gotta turn around. Down at this end. And then we'll have to get the lime going. We need a lime field 15 as well. So once we're done spreading fertilizer with this, we will dump our fertilizer into a couple of pallets like we had to last time, and then go fill up with lime and get that going on our nice neat plow field. I feel so much better having this field planted so it looks nice and clean, and having that field plowed and having all those weeds gone. So now we only have one disgusting looking field, number 16, with straw still on it, with large weeds on it. That is the problem with harvesting 3 fields all at once. I don't have enough tractors or time to get them all turned quickly, so I'd rather stagger them, which is what we're being forced to do now because we only got 1 field planted with winter wheat or barley. So we're going to have to put probably oats in 15 again or something. We'll look at our calendar. Some sort of March crop in 15 and another one that produces flour in 16. So sorghum or oats has got to go in one of those fields so we can keep the flour mill going, and then we can just decide what we want to do in the other one based on what works on the calendar and go from there. So this will finish off the fertilizing. That wasn't too bad. Again, when you got this equipment that can do like 16 or 12 meter spreading or 18 meter spreading, I think this is just the 12 meter version. It does go a lot quicker. And as you can see, those straw bales are gone, which is fine. I do have 1 load of silage bales ready to go. That's the other thing we're going to do in this episode is sell those silage bales. But I do want to get lime going on this field 15 before too terribly long. So let's get this. We'll just come back here and unload that. Dropped them way over there, but that's fine. So here's our 2 pallets of fertilizer. And then we're going to go down here, fill up with lime, and then set a worker going on 15 with that. And then we'll take our other, we'll take the McCormick to go sell some of those fermented, is what I meant to say, some of those fermented silage bales. So, oh, and it looks like he did miss just a little bit on this end for plowing. We'll have to run the plow back up here too. So, wrong way around the crop circle here, and pulling into where the lime is. So the thing I've liked about our location, the lime is right here, and our flour mill is right across the street, so it's been real easy to get those. A lot of times in a farm, if I'm picking a field that's way out in the middle of nowhere and you have to make long trips for lime, I end up just putting in a lime station or a station that will sell me fertilizer and lime right there on the field. It's like 10 to 15,000 to get a silo put in that kind of looks like this, but it will dump those things out for you so you don't have to drive and get them. This has been convenient enough that I haven't had to really mess with that. So I'm gonna back this in the corner and then come out here. Oh, sprayer. Sprayer is what I need to be doing, not selling bales. Need to be spraying. So let's get that going here. We've got to finish plowing the end. Let's see, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots. I think if we start him up here, we can run up here and get the plow down before he comes back and limes. I'm gonna hope. So let's get this going. I was gonna make this a shorter video, but with the amount of stuff we're doing, it's probably gonna turn into a longer video, it's sounding like. So, alright, so we're gonna go ahead and get this guy going, switch over to this. We gotta run and plow that last little section of the field before our worker gets down there. And then we need to go get a sprayer, which we can do in the McCormick. That's totally fine. But I do like having these 3 fields together. I think I'm probably just going to keep these 3 fields going and not really mess with anything else for a little while. I know in the beginning I was buying some fields and selling some fields and buying some other fields and selling some fields, and I did like that grass field up there, but I mean, we still owe $350,000 on our loan. We're not in a position to be buying any more fields. We just need to work these 3 for a little while and start making some progress on those things. I had thought about starting the greenhouse soon, but I don't know that we've got enough to do with mowing again and doing that. So we got that plowed out of the way before the worker got back down. We're going to need to plow 16, but we're not even close yet because we still got to get all the straw off of there as well. So let's go ahead and drop this back off. Do we still have the spot open? It's getting a little tight in here between that header and that baler. But yeah, we've been parking this up in here. Something like this. And we'll just leave the weight on, and we're going to go. Never did get to look at that hoe, so let's just go ahead and rent a sprayer because I know that works. And if that will help us with all parts of the field. The hoe would only help us with the part that we planted in October with the medium weeds. It wouldn't do anything for those large weeds on the end. And this is our largest field, and it produces things that make flour, which we desperately need for our farm to stay productive. So we're going to do whatever we can to make sure we're getting 100% fertilizer and not losing yield based on weeds, because that's what happens with the weeds. Is if you have too many weeds, you might have your 98% yield bonus or whatever. 95 I think is what we're going to get because we didn't roll. But then it just takes like a 20 or 30% thing off for the weeds, so it just really messes things up for that. So we're going to pop out here. We're going to need a sprayer. Let's just look at a hoe real quick. Weeders, 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 weeders. No. I don't even know where a hoe is in this. Yep, I'm not going to waste the time. So sprayers. We don't need a giant one. This one will be fine. 54, 34. This one's 24 meters. This one's 27 to 33. 24 meters is plenty. And this will hold 12,000 liters. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. We're going to lease that, $2,000. And then pallets, we need, nope, not a big bag, and we need a pallet of liquid fertilizer. See, this is, we're spending $5,000 just to get those weeds off. But we should get, I mean, do we get $5,000 worth of yield off? Probably. No, that's fertilizer. Herbicide. Herbicide is, okay, that's better. $4,000. Still a lot, but I mean, we got that thing planted. We need to that says fertilizer cost. That better be herbicide. Herbicide, yep. I think it just categorizes it the same. So this only holds 1,200 liters. So we'll have to drive back down here and fill up if we run out, or get the forks and drive that back into the circle to sell it back, because we shouldn't need herbicide again in the future. If we plow everything before we plant, that should just avoid weeds altogether. But we did not avoid weeds this time around, so this is the solution that we have. Now this is going to go even faster than fertilizing, because I believe our fertilizer spread at 12 meters, our solid fertilizer, and so does our lime. I think this thing is 24, so you'll see this is it's kind of cool to use. It's just so expensive. And in my other farm, I've been running a let's run one down here just to get the end of the field ready so we can turn around plenty. Yeah, look at this thing. It's huge. So we're going to have to start here, and then we'll turn on the spray and then get at an angle. I got to back out the camera here, make sure I'm getting that edge, which we are. and you can kind of see the parts that are hitting the light are staying dark behind us. It's hard to see with these medium weeds and the small weeds, but you will definitely be able to see with the large weeds down here at the end. It should turn them gray or something to signify that they've been killed. And then we'll check our map for weeds as well. Or it's just taking them straight off the field, even better. So those weeds are just gone. So spraying it like that, and then let's check our map. So we're 100% fertilized there. We're going to go back down and turn on the weeds now. Here. Yeah, and so it goes from weeds of that bright green, which we have plenty on 16 and 14, to that burgundy color to show that they're killed. So now we're just going to back up here and line it up. Yeah, and this, I mean, just this thing is that wide, it's just going to knock out these weeds pretty quick. So this one tank should be close to enough to get this field done. But again, we won't need herbicide for 15 and 16 because we're going to plow those. And if I remember to do that correctly in year 3, when we're turning our harvest, we should continue to not need weeds. So this is kind of a one-off for us. But you know, it's an interesting thing to show in the video and something we don't do a lot of. I don't tend to like to use sprayers just because you spend so much money on liquid fertilizer and then on herbicide. I mean, it just really eats into your profits. So I prefer to use solid fertilizer out of that lime spreader because it seems to last longer. I mean, when you buy 1,000 liters, it seems to cover more than the spray does. And if I do have to run a weeder, I usually run one of the manual weeders. So I basically plant in 1 month and then run the manual weeder when the grasses or when the crops are still short enough you can drive on them like this, and just pull all those weeds when they're at a small stage. But unfortunately, none of these weeds were at a small. This one was a medium, and then these large weeds down here at the end and the stuff we planted 2 months ago. So we let this one get out of hand because of all the things, the rain, the darkness, and all the other things we were trying to deal with in the previous episode. So, and it doesn't make any sense for us to use this herbicide on field 16 if we're gonna plow it. And even if we sprayed it and then harrowed it and then planted, the weeds would still grow back. You have to do it after the crop is planted for it to actually take effect. So it would just be a waste of all this herbicide. So as we get our third field going shortly, we shouldn't need, I mean, I don't know, well, I guess we're already down to 68%. We might need to run back and refill, so the 1 pallet might be about right for this field. I really hope we don't have to buy another one. We would have already paid to rent all the equipment, so it would make sense to do it, but then we're going to have this pallet of herbicide sitting around all year long, so don't want to mess around with that. Anyway, I am going to be quiet for a minute and play a little music while I go ahead and spray the rest of this field. So enjoy that, and then I will catch up with you guys at the end of the video to wrap it up. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging in with me for that. For some reason, this last row, we started skidding all over the place as we were trying to spray, which seemed really weird to me. So we're going to see if this fixes it. I think maybe I accidentally lowered it and I was dragging on the ground or something, but I was not driving in a straight line because it was literally pulling me to the left, then pulling me to the right. And you probably saw that at the end of the music there. So I don't know what was going on in there, but it seems to be fixed now. Sometimes also, I mean, I do play on a PS5. My controller, sometimes the joystick will want to pull one direction or the other, and I'll have to recalibrate it, which usually I just do by pushing it all the way to one side, clicking it a bunch of times, and pulling it to the other side and clicking it a bunch of times, and then letting it recenter, which seems to usually fix the problem. But regardless, that was weird. But anyway, we're going to keep moving forward here. We're down to the last 10%, so we're going to have to go ahead and refill anyway. So why don't we, the end of this row here, we'll stop the spraying, stop the autopilot. We're going to fold this up, and we're going to go get the rest of that herbicide back from the shop. Load it in here, come back down, spray our last 2 strips, and wrap up this video. So all in all, pretty good progress that we're making. I'm gonna zoom back in because I like this view better, but obviously when you're spreading something that wide, you need to be able to see the edges so you know that you're hitting everything. So this is a $5,000 setback, so to speak, having to spray. Well, 4,000 to 5,000. That guy is flying up to that yield sign. But it's hopefully we will make more than that 4,000 to 5,000 in an increased yield, or not losing the yield because of the weeds, I guess. And you spend all this money on seed and all this equipment to get this stuff done. You don't want to take a 30% cut off the top just because you were too lazy to take care of the weeds. So I don't know. I think it's hard to say exactly how much we're going to make, or what that offset would have been had we not sprayed it. I mean, we would literally have to run and fast forward through the game to the harvest, see how much we got off the field, and then reset it without saving, and then do it again with the spraying, and harvest it all, and just look at the yield bonus, and then run all that stuff through the flour mill and then through the bakery into bread, and then really kind of see what that yield difference really is profit wise. So I don't have the patience for something like that, but just safe to say the right thing to do was to spray those weeds and protect our harvest. So that's what we did. But and see, we should have a down and a back left. So let's get over here, make sure we're covering it all. We should be able to do this in two links. So we'll go ahead and get that sprayed here. And the field does get ever so slightly shorter every time we do this because of the angle of the road down here. So these should be the 2 quickest links of the field for spraying. Also, it looks like our worker ran out of lime on that field with 1 strip left, so we'll have to clean that up too here in a minute. But that's easy enough to do. And then next episode we will, I mean, it is November and it's going to rain pretty soon, so we'll probably skip to December, then sell the silage then. But we want to get that silage sold and then pay off some of this loan, because we're paying about $1,000 interest every day to have that $350,000 loan, which of course is the cost of this field that we're spraying right now. So we could have sold this field off, broke even, and had no loan. But we need our flour mill to be producing all year long rather than just 3 months of the year, and keep the bakery going. And also we have bread to sell as well. So next episode will be good for us profit wise, as we'll be tracking our silage sales and our bread sales, and we'll see kind of what we made throughout year 2, production-wise. Now, a lot of that product, we still have like 100,000 liters of barley in our mill that hasn't been turned to flour, so a lot of that's deferred to this year, or to year 3, but we will see kind of where we ended up year 2. So we'll do all of that in the next episode, which will be fun to kind of see how we're progressing, and then we'll probably end up fast forwarding through part of the winter as well. We will get all of these field margins mowed again just to have some extra hay for our cows, but we only have 15 cows, so they're not really eating that much hay right now, so I'm not too terribly worried about that. But anyway, overall I think things are turning out pretty good. I really did not like how our fields looked the last couple of episodes, with straw still sitting out there and overgrown with weeds, and I know 16 still looks like that, but we'll get that cleaned up over the winter. We'll have this field 15 ready to plant first thing in March, and then we'll be able to just kind of move forward with a similar setup, but with the animals. Once we start producing milk, then we will consider how we're going to get a dairy. I don't know if there's a dairy in town or not. Actually, let's look at that real quick. So milk can be sold at the bakery, at Karl Engelgrat, at the chocolatier, and at the supermarket. So there is no dairy. I don't know what the Carlisle's Engelgrat is, so I'm going to tag that. We'll take a look here in a second when we're done with our herbicide. And we'll check our map. So yep, we got all the weeds off of there, which is great. I'm going to zoom out and look for where this flashing Carlisle Engelgrat is. It is a production facility. Okay. Can you tell me what kind of production facility? It's straight down our road too. Maybe I'll run down there and check that out here between episodes so I can report back. Anyway, so we're going to take this. I'm going to drive down the edge of our field here and drop off this herbicide kind of by where we have those 2 solid fertilizer things sitting there. Actually, we'll drop it off on this side of the building to not confuse them. I shouldn't be too confused because it's liquid, but nonetheless, then we can literally drop this off, go into our equipment, and sprayers. We're going to return that. So that has been returned. Let's just park this here. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of this lime done, but we're going to end the episode here because it's already becoming a long one. Hey, there's that Carlisle Engelgrat. You know what? I take it back. We're going to figure out what that production facility is because I've got it as a giant green beam of light and we have to run get lime anyway. So I won't make you guys watch me lime, but I will figure out what this production facility is because we need to figure out where we're taking that milk when we make it. We might just never even sell the milk and just put it straight into our bakery, because that is why we're making it. But we need to make butter, and we can't make butter without a dairy. So that's the issue. We need 1 load of milk for just the milk and 1 load of milk to make the butter. So that's what we need to figure out. Sorry, getting my lights fixed. It's so dark because it's going to rain again here in November. And we'll go from there. So let's... I was going to pull over, but there's somebody... Oh no, this is a dairy. I mean, it's got cheese in there, right? Carlisle Engelgrat. That looks like cheese to me. where do you dump your goods? Must dump them here and pick them up here. Yeah, so this is the dairy we would buy if we needed to. That's $50,000. So that's good to know. The nice thing is we could actually buy that. Buy that, dump our milk in, have it just make butter. Process all the milk we have into butter. Take that butter back, dump it in our bakery, then sell this back for the $50,000 or whatever. I don't know what you get when you sell a production facility back, because I've never bought and sold production facilities like that, but we don't need to keep the dairy forever. We just need it long enough to get butter. Now, eventually, if we keep making butter or milk with our cows and we want to keep producing cakes out of our bakery, then yes, we would have to just keep that. So if we have the money, but right now we don't have $50,000 in around to spare, so there's that. So we're going to grab a little bit of lime here, and I will end the episode there. So thank you guys for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.